Hello and welcome back. We are still in the fourth and final qualifying tournament for Legend of the Stars. We are down in the bottom bracket now. We're down to our last few players in that, trying to figure out who is going to come back and take on Nexus of Reality for the final. So this game is going to be Adjux versus Blodir. We're going back to Iceland. We also have Nom Bringer, or the Bringer of Noms, with us once again. All right,
Hello there.
Hello, let's go to Iceland. There we go. All right, and unpause. So, interestingly, I don't know whether this was planned by the competition directors or if it's just a bit of a mistake, but we are going for the top left and bottom right slots this time. Okay, we are going to have an Aeon mirror matchup. We have got Blodir in his customary purple colour in the top left, so hopefully I will not be getting confused about player colours this time. He is going to go Aeon. He has got his first land factory well underway. He's getting double adjacency, and we can see a couple of Tech 1 mass extractors ready to go for him, and a bunch of power generators to feed the air factory, which he has got second. Down in the bottom right, in his also standard colour, Adjux being Aeon, he's going for no adjacency on that first land factory actually, and he's going to start getting those power generators immediately. He's going to go for his 4 core mixes before carrying on and getting his air factory up and running.
Yeah, so Adjux has decided that he's going to rush the Hydro. Looks like it's a bit of a weird build order. I don't know if he prepared it. I suspect he didn't for this spot, but it is a bit of a weird spot. You can't quite do this in the center spot because the Hydro isn't close enough. But here you can get away with rushing it really, really quickly, getting that easy power boost from the Hydro in just a much more efficient way. So I'm expecting that we'll see an early score lead from Adjux just from this build order.
Alright, so how is this going to play out, I wonder? So, still no early assault units. There's no mech marines or, well, flares because they're Aeon. No labs out and about, just engineers. So, hopefully this is not going to be a repeat of that earlier game where we saw Blodir just teching up for half an hour.
I mean, Blodir really loves his max upgrades. I mean, sometimes I'm not even sure if he's playing the other guy. He just really likes that mass. But no, I expect we will see a bit of a more technical game. There's not so many imbalances in an Aeon versus Aeon matchup, like we saw with the Zlo and the Seraphim, and then against the Aeon. This is a mirror match. A lot of it's going to be gaining a small advantage. We'll see where it takes us. So both players have gone for pretty non-committal stuff, just seeing where it takes them, seeing what's going to happen, and then they're probably going to make some serious decisions later on.
Alright, Adjux is focusing very heavily with the engineers in the centre there. He's going to get that Hydro finished. He's grabbing that reclaim, and he's getting to work on his air factory with adjacency really quickly. So he's still got his stack of power generators and an air factory back at base, and he's also going to get a second one started over here. So very heavily air building this way. Interesting.
Yeah, I mean, Adjux has decided that he knows that Blodir likes to eco as well, so he just went for 6 engineers with no scouts and no auroras. And I mean, Blodir's very carefully defended all of his engineers with tanks and hasn't realized that Adjux has just been building engineers for the entire first part of the game. So a bit of mind games going on with Adjux. He didn't really think Blodir was going to do anything aggressive.
There's, I mean, a small amount of aggression if you count that Aurora coming down the left there. But I mean, Blodir has been really quick on the expansion. So despite building those extra units for defending those engineers, he's actually gotten out. He's grabbed the entire center expansion. He's sitting on 19 to the 11 mass attack of Adjux. So doing a really good job of getting that. He's even got more power, even though he didn't rush that Hydro quite as much as Adjux did.
Yeah, and that's because Adjux, he had to invest engineers on the Hydro, whereas Blodir, he's just stayed in his base. He could afford to send all his engineers out expanding because he's just been building factories and then with his ACU. Adjux looks like he's going to be moving his ACU to that expansion over there. We're seeing that because we're not in the center spots, actually taking over your opponent's expansion right from the start, suddenly becoming a lot more viable.
Yeah, so Adjux
Adjux having some mass issues though, I think.
He's moving his ACU right up. He's going to grab the mass extractors as he goes. He's going to be getting some reclaim reasonably soon, but I don't think he's just got anything planned right now. He's just constructing things, so just using up mass and not actually reclaiming anything. Meanwhile, Blodir...
Yeah,
Sorry?
He's paused those engineers that were on his factory spam, so I think his build order hasn't turned out quite the way he wanted it to, and Blodir getting a fairly significant lead. So I was completely wrong, of course, about the Hydro Rush.
So, Adjux, moving up the right-hand side there, so he'll be pushing for that expansion. Blodir bringing an engineer out, trying to take that expansion. There is a Tech 1 point defense plan, but I very much doubt that'll get completed before Adjux's ACU is on board. And there is a bomber out here from Adjux, so he's coming in trying to do a little bit of damage. He's going to take out one of those engineers. Boom, down it goes. There is another engineer who's now started dodging, but there is at least still some build capacity. If he can keep that alive, he's going to have to keep on dodging. How's he going to manage? He has managed to do that just fine. He keeps that engineer alive, and that means he can continue getting that factory down. He's got a few combat units moving across to the right. I'm not sure if that is enough to dissuade that ACU just yet, though.
Yeah, well, Auroras are a bit better at dissuading ACUs. I'm not sure that's enough. The thing is, Blodir's had, at one point, he had 6 Tech 1 LAM factories, while Adjux had only 1. That's how badly Adjux mucked up his build order. And the thing is, Blodir needs to make these units count. He's going to have a big unit advantage. His factories will have been producing for longer, which means he's going to have more units total. But Adjux looks like he will take the top right expansion.
Yeah, there's nothing really to stop him there. That ACU will be able to roll in. In fact, Blodir's just rolled right on by with that engineer. He's just going to go across. He's going to try for those extra mixes across the side. Maybe I don't know how long that would last. He might be a little bit better off just going for that reclaim that's over there.
Yeah, and see, the thing is, but Adjux hasn't even tried for that left expansion, so this is actually quite an early lead for Blodir. If he can make this pay off, this is a very good position. He's got more units. He's only very, very slightly behind on expansion. More build capacity. Let's see where it takes him.
Yeah, he's going to have his ACU reasonably soon. Actually, he's stopped for upgrade. He was thinking about getting down to that bottom left expansion, but he's stopped, and we did see in the chat he does have the notify mode on, so we can see that is the T2 upgrade that he's going for. If he can get down there and get some T2 point defense, he could pretty easily creep across, take out that center expansion for Adjux, cause all sorts of problems. And in fact, he's actually brought his Auroras across, and he is completely cutting off the ACU from the rest of Adjux's base right now. Adjux is gonna not really want to have that situation, not being able to extract his ACU if he needs to.
Yeah, looks like Adjux has started an upgrade in that expansion, probably just because of that. He really doesn't want to get surrounded. Could end quite badly. Adjux has gotten a transport. He's going to take that right expansion. Blodir deciding to build a factory on it instead, so they're both going to get them relatively early.
Alright, Blodir is not probably able to hold this pass right now because there are the extra support units coming in from Adjux from the left there. There was already facing him below, so there's probably about a 2-to-1 unit advantage in that particular theatre against Blodir, so not the best, but that does mean that he's pulled away Adjux's units from the centre, and that opens up this middle right. It blows it wide open actually, and Blodir could head straight down to that centre expansion right now and cause all sorts of problems because there is not a lot. There is a couple of point defence. Does he have any fervours with him? No, it looks like he's still just Auroras.
Oh man, that's a horrible engagement for Blodir on the right. Adjux only lost about 2 Auroras, and Blodir lost loads. And the thing is now, Adjux's army is with his ACU. Blodir, his ACU's in the bottom left, great, but he has to keep his army up in the top to defend against this combined threat of the Auroras and the ACU. So now Adjux is actually in a much better position just because he got his army to his ACU first. Now Blodir is having to divide his forces.
There's a ton of spam coming out. There's this big string of factories down the bottom here. They are just spewing out T1 units. We can see all of those guys just heading up across towards that ACU. That's going to make the top right a very, very difficult position for Blodir to hold. He's going to have a T2 ACU, so there's going to be Oblivion turrets probably online any minute now, and he's only got Auroras in the area and a little bit of T1 point defense.
Blodir going for an incredibly early tech to air. back in his base. I was wondering what he was doing, and I'm really not sure I agree with this. Like, this is just too early. He's gonna sacrifice so many eco and units from this. I'm not sure how he's gonna make this pay off. I really don't.
If he can maintain air control, he could perhaps get some mercies around the back of Adjux and hit him without any AA, but to build half a dozen mercies that he needs is going to be a massive.
Yeah.
He's getting pushed back while he's trying to do
and
this.
Adjux has seen that Blodir's gone the tech to air, so he's shifted a bunch of build capacity just to interceptors. Oh, a nice bomb from Blodir though.
Very nice.
Getting 7 Auroras. Nice bomb.
That is actually leaving the ACU for Adjux a little bit unsupported now. He's just lost a lot of his army, and actually Auroras are coming in, and it looks like Blodir is trying to wrap up Adjux's ACU and mess up his pathfinder.
Yeah, the gunships may very well come in actually.
And how many gunships are there? There's 2 gunships so far, although no, they're actually backing up. They don't want to get into the tangle that is about to happen. Does Blodir have the interceptor numbers to pull out a win in the air here? It looks like he just might, if he just keeps the control nicely on those things.
Yeah, he may very well go for the win right here.
Well,
I'm not sure it'll work.
I don't think he's got quite the numbers of interceptors, but if he can at least wipe out all of Adjux's interceptors while he does it, actually, I think I spoke too soon, he's actually managing to pull it off. So he is going to get control.
And he's PD creeping simultaneously to the bottom expansion of Adjux, despite the fact he doesn't have an army. Adjux needs something in fast, or he's just going to die to gunships.
Adjux needs AA and very, very fast, because he's down to 4,500 HP. He has got a couple of T1 mobile AAs floating around, but he's got nothing that's going to stop those gunships. The Tech 1 stationary AA that he put up did go down to the gunships. It looks like one of those gunships did go down to interceptors, I think, that came in from Adjux. They managed to take it out anyway, and it's just looking a little bit dodgy for Adjux. He's down to 3,900. He certainly doesn't have any HP to spare. Well, there's 3 more gunships coming in for Blodir. They're all rolling in. They're just going to take out that AA first, and then they're going to go after that ACU. Have they got enough to do it? It looks like they probably do. So there's 4 gunships on Adjux right now. He is down to 3,000. He's actually stopped to do an upgrade. I don't know if he's even going to be able to complete
There may very well have been a misclick. But I'm not sure what he can do. He's just going to die.
That is very bad for Adjux indeed. So we're looking at a 10-minute game here on Iceland's, and that is going to push Blodir through to the final, which is, wow, I didn't quite expect it to go down that way. Adjux looked really, really strong on the right, but Blodir managed to evaporate those units.
Yeah, well, Blodir just had so many more units. Adjux really mucked up his start there. And I mean, I'm not sure I agree with that tech to air, but it's definitely a way to capitalize on the advantage right now and just try and win the game quickly, which it did.
It sure did. Alright, there we go. That is the end of Blodir versus Adjux. So that is Blodir coming out on top, which means he goes through to face Zlo for the final of the bottom bracket, and then the winner of that is going to go and take on Nexus of Reality. So let's go through to that and